Hey, good morning, everybody. Just out here in the tackle room this morning, getting ready for today's YouTube tip. And today I'm going to get back into a little bit more bait modification, lure categories. I've been mixing it up a little bit with some oddball stuff, but trying to break it up for everybody. I know you probably don't want to hear about the same stuff day in and day out. So today we're going to be back to bait modifications, and I'm going to show you guys one of my secret, it is secret because I've never talked about it before in public. Bait modifications, and that's how to modify the Zoom Brushog to catch a lot more fish. I think you guys will really like this tip that I'm going to give you. So before we get started, just wanted to remind everybody that the few housekeeping tips with Fish the Moment. This Thursday, we've got our Fish the Moment virtual seminar. Johnny's going to be giving the 3-hour seminar on seasonal movements of bass. You guys can, there's still a few openings. I think Johnny opened it up for a few more people. You can sign up at fishthemoment.com for that if you're interested. And also on the 18th of February, Johnny and I are doing a virtual seminar together, 6 to 9 p.m. On fishthemoment.com on pre-spawn patterns, which we're getting into the pre-spawn here pretty quick. So it's going to be a really informative seminar. You can sign up for those. Again, just go to fishthemoment.com. And also, man, check out these lake breakdowns that I've been doing. I'm getting ready to start on them here after I get done with this video. We got lake breakdowns, spring maps all across the country. We're doing personal map breakdowns. A lot of good info there, so check it out on fishthemoment.com. So anyway, let's get into this brush hog modification I'm talking about. First of all, a little bit of history behind creature baits, brush hogs, that type of stuff. All you guys out there that are probably under 30 probably don't realize it, but back probably before like 1995, you didn't have creature baits around here. The only thing we had were plastic worms. You had different like straight-tailed worms, you had curly-tailed worms. Then you had craws. You had like the old salt craw, you had the Guido bugs, and that was about it, and lizards. Those were like the soft plastic lure categories. Tubes weren't even invented at that time. So in the mid 90s or so, late 90s, Zoom came out with the Zoom Brush Hog, which is still like one of the main standbys for anglers all across the country. It's probably my favorite bait that Zoom makes. I still use it a ton, catches a ton of fish, catches a lot of big fish. So it stood the test of time, but a lot of people don't know about the Zoom Brush Hog is how extremely versatile it is. You can fish it on a Texas rig, you can Carolina rig it, you can fish it. It's one of the best football head jig trailers that you can have. You can take the thing and just basically cut it off midway and use it as a football head jig trailer. Makes a great one with that. But really what I'm going to show you guys today is going to be what I do to modify my brush hogs to catch more fish. And this makes a big difference. And I've seen it especially on Grand Lake in Oklahoma. That's where I really began this modification. And it's what I do to all of them before I get fishing. So anyway, I'm going to show you guys how I start out here. I'm going to show you the before and after picture. Here's 2 identical Zoom brush hogs. The first thing I do with them is I rough it up. And this is what I do with all my plastics. I go through, rough them up with my fingers. Another way that you can do this is you can lay it flat on a table or something, and you can take the dull edge of a knife and just go across the top of it, and you can get it all broke up too. But what this does is it helps break the salt up inside the bait. It makes the bait much more pliable. Softer, pliable, gives it better, more realistic action. So here's the difference between the two. Notice the color variation difference on there. This one's just a lot more flatter looking, just a lot more natural looking. Okay, the next thing I do with it is, see the little legs here? Is I'll take the legs and I'll cut them free like that. So what this does is it allows the legs to swing, pretty much like a twisty tail. It basically gives it more action. But here, the next tip I'm going to give you is the big key. Now, you see these flappers here that come on the brush hog? What you want to do with these is take a sharp pair of scissors and make some serrated cuts all along the the side, the edge of the top, or down the side of them. And I usually like to do 2 to 3 cuts, and I'm going to come all the way to the top if I can on both sides. And what this does, that actually it accomplishes 2 different things. It not only makes the bait more pliable, gives it more action, but it gives you less plastic to have to get in the way for hooking the fish, because it's no longer a solid piece. So what happens is, this is the difference how it looks. Here's the regular out of the package Zoom brush hog, and that's what the side looks like after you've cut the edges. So here's the difference in the thing. Look, take a look at this here. Here's the Zoom brush hog. Here's the stock Zoom brush hog out of the package. You can see that. And here's my modified one. Notice the color variation difference a little bit in it. You got the side is different. You got the legs flapping free. And, this may not seem like a big deal, but when you're talking about getting a few more strikes during the day, as far as when the bass is studying that bait, and they got a split second to decide if they're going to bite it or ignore it, sometimes these modifications can make a big difference. Like I said, it makes the bait visually look better. It looks more realistic, and also once the fish hits that, it allows that bait to collapse a little bit, getting the fish's mouth a little bit more. But anyway, like I said, Zoom brush hog, still one of the top creature baits out there. It's a mainstay in my arsenal of pitching and flipping, Carolina rigging, football head, behind a football head. I just love it for that. But anyway, that's today's tip on the Zoom brush hog. I'll probably do quite a bit of these modification tips on soft plastics, because like I said, there's very few soft plastics that I don't modify somehow, just to not only give yourself more confidence that you're doing something that a lot of people don't, but just gets a few more bites. And one other thing on that is, when we're talking about roughing up the soft plastics with your finger, another thing that this does on it, another advantage, is it makes like dye. If you put the spike at dip and dye or something, it makes it adhere to the plastic a lot better, gives it a lot more natural look there. So anyway, that's today's tip. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you do so. It really helps out a lot. And we'll be back tomorrow with another tip. See ya.